Good morning. It is March 27th of 2026. This is Just Listen Live, hosted by George Goodman. I'm George. Welcome you to the podcast. I'm coming to you a little bit early because I have some other stuff going on. And I today want to focus on the policies of the Democrats in the state and the Republicans in the state. So this should be a little bit more interesting, and my show is evolving. So I wanted to cut down on the time and also give you food for thought because it all comes down to policies. And of course, I will report what the governor is doing and what the legislature is doing because in this part of Illinois, it's hard for us to get information. But I thought that you might specifically want to know uh, with the November elections coming up, what each party is going to be fighting for proposal wise. So let's start with the Democrats. The Democrats are talking about a millionaire tax. So they want a 3% tax on income over 1 million to fund property tax relief and school districts. Middle class tax cuts. Democrats propose corresponding tax cuts for middle class, and they're going to pay for it with the millionaire tax. Social Security proposals to lift cap on Social Security taxes for high earners. Now, I don't know how the state can do that, but it's out there. And maybe this one is more at the federal level for people running for the Senate or the House of Representatives, because this one actually is interesting because did most of you know that there is a cap on Social Security? So if you're making, and I'm just throwing out a number, um, over $165,000, well, there's 2 or 3 months of the year where you don't pay Social Security. So I just recently learned that myself. So hopefully I'm telling you something that you didn't know either. So with housing, construction incentives, tax breaks for developers who build homes below the median price point. Now that's interesting. Corporate restrictions, a tax penalty for hedge funds purchasing single family homes, and caps on annual rent increases. Now, these are corporate restrictions. So this one is interesting too. We may have to peel that one back later. Now, these are just what people are thinking about that they want to do in the Democratic Party, and they're just currently talking about it. There's no uh, uh, bills in the Illinois legislature to do any of this. Zoning reform, tying federal housing dollars to local zoning reforms to increase housing density near transits. Healthcare and insurance regulation, legislation that give the Illinois Department of Insurance more power to reject or modify rate rate hikes, such as a 27% increase seen in homeowners insurance in 2025. Now, I had actually seen that one before, and that might be one to peel back a little bit more to get a better level of understanding. They also want Medicare for all, and they want to transition to a single payer system. Family cost, child tax credit, expansion of the state child tax credit, with some candidates proposing a maximum of $4,000 per recipient. All right. And the Democrats also want universal pre-K and paid leave. Now, to the Republican side. So, the Republicans want to highlight that the Democrats' spending and taxing policies are the root causes of Illinois' high cost of living. Okay, now I thought that was funny because that's pretty obvious that the party in power, we are seeing where we're at now, but that doesn't solve the problem. Okay, eliminating specific taxes. Proposals to eliminate state taxes on tips and overtime pay, as well as federal taxes on Social Security benefits for seniors. And I've actually seen some Republicans put that up as bills, but they don't move. And I'll tell you why in a minute. Property tax reform, establishing a property tax foreclosure task force and opposing any new millionaire or wealth taxes. Small business support, a 5-year tax holiday for small businesses to encourage economic growth. Housing, first time home buyer credit, a refundable tax credit up to $25,000 for first time buyers, and it would be delivered over the next 5 years. Down payment savings, waiving income taxes on money saved specifically for a first home down payment. Housing. Then we go to energy, data center accountability, reallocating electric grid costs so that consumers are not subsidized for the high energy demands of data centers. Energy abundance, streamlining permitting for all forms of energy generation to lower residential heating and cooling costs. And then a big one, government spending reform, opposing multi-billion dollar transit and infrastructure packages that lack oversight, arguing that affordability requires a large tax base rather than more revenue. And so that's what the Republican policies are. Now, if you look at both, you see that there is a difference, a huge difference between both of them. And we need to think about in this election year, yes, I'm plugging it again, that you need to vote in the general election in November because we in the state of Illinois are headed in two drastically different directions. And it looks like that one is saying, well, we need to spend more. And the other is saying, hey, we need to give some tax breaks to some. So they are, and we're talking about seniors. Let me be specific about that. And we need to build up our tax base. So that's where we're at now. So next week, what I'll do is I actually have the information for what the candidates were talking about this week. But now that you've seen this, you can see their what their points are that they are going to be focused on. And I'll tell you what they're focused on. I would also say that I'll be putting out more reels. People seem to like those, and I'm happy about that. To kind of end everything, you can watch the podcast a couple of times if you want to see the specifics of what I said that the Democrats are working on. The Democrats have um, turned very progressive, as you know. But what some people don't talk about is that um, Dick Durbin is the last conservative Democrat elected in Illinois. We saw it happen in Missouri with Claire McCaskill like 6, 7 years ago, whenever it was. So the Democrats are definitely headed in a different direction. And I'm saying that because we still have people out there who are conservative Democrats that are still in the Democratic Party. So they may want to consider, based on the policies that I'm telling you about, to maybe jumping ship or even becoming independents. So I'll be back on Monday, and everyone have a great weekend. And this is Just Listen Live with George Goodman. Have a great day.